Dates and Mates with your host, Damona Hoffman.
Hi, lovers. Welcome to Dates and Mates. This is the place where we are going to make modern love simple for you. It doesn't have to be difficult. No matter what your age, it doesn't have to be difficult. We've talked before about how people who are a little older and maybe are new to dating technology can find love, but today, we're going to do a little something for the young folks. We'll be talking about millennial dating challenges, dating and relationship challenges, and we are going to set you straight no matter where you are in your age of love. This is the time to find it. We are broadcasting live from Sunset Gower Studios here in Hollywood, and we are handling all the headlines that are fit to print. No Hollywood headlines today, actually.
No, we're taking a break from Tinseltown, I suppose.
Well, I was just very traumatized by the whole Channing Tatum, Jenna Dewan.
Love is dead, right?
Love is dead. So we had to give love 1 week to mourn the
recover,
celebrity relationships. But we will be talking about what a mixed weight relationship is and why it matters. We'll discuss how device use can severely impact relationships. And we'll ask, can you have sex on the first date in the age of Me Too? We also have your thought-provoking questions in Technically Dating, including what to do if a new dad sexts you. You not being the mother of his child. Okay, in case that wasn't clear. And we'll ask, what is the line between keeping tabs on your ex and Snapchat stalking? Those are the headlines this week. But first, those are the questions, but we're going to kick it off with the dish first.
Dee's dating dish.
My soy latte is just kicking in, you guys.
Activated.
Get activated. So, Producer Thomas.
Yes, Damona.
I want to ask, what is a mixed weight relationship? I found this article in Refinery 29. Well, you found this article, and then you sent it to me.
Give credit where credit's due, Damona.
But I found it very interesting because this is a challenge for a lot of singles that I work with that are comfortable in their body type and maybe attracted to a particular body type. But sometimes the way that society perceives you, if you are in a, quote, mixed weight relationship, we talked about mixed race relationships last week, but mixed weight relationship, sometimes it can be a little bit stressful for the relationship. And so the author of this article said, we need to pump the brakes a little bit in this mixed weight label. And they're concerned that even labeling love between larger and smaller people is, it's limiting. Now, I will say that whole, Jack Sprat, come on, Jack Sprat could eat no fat as wife could eat no lean.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
Mixed weight relationships are as old as time.
That's true, yeah. A time-honored tradition.
Can someone just have a preference for a particular weight and be comfortable with that without us having to put a label on it or make it a thing?
Yeah, I think so. And I generally agree that labeling it feels like a little tricky because then it's like you're forcing everyone to consider it as such. Maybe they wouldn't have been inclined to had you not put, an official marker on it.
Yeah, I will say I've always been into skinny guys. Like that's my thing. That's my thing. But I never put a label on it.
Right.
And I don't know if it's a mixed weight relationship or anything. I'm not a twig. Yeah. But that was certainly a preference of mine. But I never went deeper to examine, well, what does that
I think
mean?
It's like problematic if you make ultimatums like, oh, I would never date a heavier guy. Or like it's also kind of like some of the issues we see with like mixed race relationships and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I would never date a meathead. Like
a
muscles, jacked.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you wouldn't like
no. Although he's real funny.
Yeah.
I like his funny path that he's been on. He's cute and all, but I would introduce him to my friend or something.
Wow.
I think you gotta know. You gotta know where what you like. But I think it's not necessarily fetishization.
Fetishization.
Help me.
Yeah.
Fetish. Thank you.
Yeah.
The rest of the show will now be hosted by
yeah,
producer Thomas.
I'm taking over.
And I feel like when someone has a preference, people are very quick to label it as a fetish. And it may not be a fetish. It may just be also what you've been exposed to. And that happens a lot with race. I know we're talking about weight right now, but that happens a lot with race. It's like, well, I just date white people because I always have dated white people. It never really occurred to me. And I'm attracted to the thing that I've always been attracted to. So but I say, give it a whirl. Date someone with a different body type and see if it and does that even really relate to the person that they are on the inside, right?
Yes. I mean, attraction, you do have to be attracted to the person you're dating to some degree. But, don't close yourself off from opportunities for love.
Yeah, and look at different factors of attraction.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people, especially men, are very quick to dismiss someone if there isn't like that immediate physical attraction. But if you go a level deeper and you can connect on something more important, then maybe a relationship could develop.
Yeah.
A relationship could develop. However, it could be ruined by one thing: your device use. There was a study. Love a good study.
You love your studies.
Kaspersky Lab looked at couples and found that over half of couples have argued over device overuse. And even more over half of couples have argued that they have argued in a way that impacts their online sharing activities like Facebook and that sort of thing. And we talk about this a lot with new relationships, but we haven't as much discussed how it impacts your relationship when you're already with someone. And it's funny, the things that we're arguing about, like a partner forgetting to charge a device, losing a device. Like these are things that rank very high on the study of things that people are arguing about. And it just shows you how much technology is really intertwined with our relationship. Now it's like, honey, did you take out the garbage? Did you do the dishes? Oh, and did you charge my iPhone?
Right. Yeah. That's true.
Can we find some better things to argue about?
Let's hope.
But the bottom line, I think people need to remember they have to connect with their partner. Like, I have a rule: when I'm with my kids, I'm not on my phone. I'm not talking on my phone. I'm not texting someone. And I make it a point of connecting just with them. And sometimes it pisses people off because they're trying to get a hold of me. But particularly dinner time, there's no devices at the table. I think you have to create your own device rules to save your relationship. Because if it just left to their own devices.
There you go.
Devices. What? Punny.
Ooh. Gotta have like a laugh track.
No, it wasn't that funny. But yeah, left to their own devices, they will create tension in the relationship, because it's like, what does it represent? It's me paying attention, putting attention out into the world somewhere else other than on your relationship.
Do you ever find yourself like when you're with your husband and you're both on your phones like tapping away, or do you like try to keep it like
sometimes if that's like dedicated time, but if we're doing something together, it's device separate. And I always actually feel bad. It surprises me, when we go out to dinner and I see people that are just happily sitting across from another person on their device, not worrying about it. And my husband's he's not on any social media. He doesn't worry. He's not doing that. Although he is a bit of a Reddit addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Redditor? Was that term?
He's a Reddit addict. But if I'm ever at a restaurant and I'm like, oh, I have to respond to this thing, I'm like so apologetic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Let me just finish this one thing. But not that our relationship is the perfect model, but I just feel more connected to him, and I like that we have the time for our devices and the time for each other, and that's separate. Yeah. Well, producer Thomas, I know you're not in the dating scene right now, but there's this question about sex on the first date that always comes up, and I read an article this week that examined whether sex on the first date is something that's changed in the era of Me Too. I personally have found sex on the first date just not a great idea in general. And, I've been doing this for a minute, like a decade or more. And I've just found when people have sex on the first date, it's just a risk that you're taking. You may be jeopardizing the relationship. You may not. And this article would beg to differ with me. They said men are 3 times more likely to use a one-night stand to start a relationship now. And they're saying up from 25%, up from 25% in
Yeah.
2016. So I guess what they're saying is maybe the Tinder factor is saying they're using Tinder for a one-night stand, hoping that will turn into a relationship. But I keep saying Tinder is not a hookup app. It's just an app. The behavior is the hookup. The Tinder is not. Is just the technology, right?
Yeah. I think many people, the dating scene has changed, obviously, where people are just looking for some fun. I think maybe
people are just desperate for any connection because we're all so disconnected because we're on our phones.
There you go.
It's a
Using
vicious
Tinder.
cycle. I know. So I still say, look, I don't know. I know this is a good study and all. I don't know that men are 3 times more likely to use a one-night stand as a relationship starter. I think that's just the culture that we are in. We are starting in this place of, gee, I don't know. And we're going to be talking more with Jamie Faye about what's happening in millennial dating culture. But it's like, oh, well, we'll go out and we'll see what happens, I think is the relationship strategy for most people. And then sometimes it starts with a one-night stand and then evolves into something else. But sometimes it doesn't. So if you just wait on having sex with someone and you let the chemistry develop over time, I've said it before, but it allows you to get to know that person in on a deeper level.
I agree in general, but don't you feel that there's sometimes the sparks are flying too hot and heavy on the first date to resist?
No.
No, never. All right.
No, and I will tell you the times when either I or my clients did give in to that, it was never like, oh, I'm so glad I had sex on the first date. It's always like, either I shouldn't have done that or I'm not sure that was a good decision. Nobody is like, oh, thank God I had sex on the first date. But I do hear the opposite, like, oh, I'm really glad that we waited. Wait, did you guys have sex on the first date? You can't tell me.
No.
Your parents might be listening.
We didn't. Sorry.
Verge till merge.
Spoiler alert.
Verge till merge.
Go.
Good for you, producer Thomas. See, and that's why it's still working out.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will be discussing millennial dating drama with Jamie Faye of Jamie Faye Coaching. So stick around. I'm your host, Damona Hoffman, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hey, I have a secret for you. Everyone gets bored in the bedroom from time to time. And whether you're single or in a relationship, there's a way to spice things up at adamandeve.com. They have one of the largest catalogs of adult products around, from lingerie to things that go buzz. Adam and Eve has just what you need to revitalize your love life. And my friends at Adam and Eve have just the thing for you, a secret bonus. I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you you're going to love it. And your partner will too, if you have one. Best of all, you can order online at adamandeve.com and they will ship your items to you in discreet packaging, so the neighbors will be none the wiser. And if you use my promo code, shipping will be free. So go to adamandeve.com and enter the promo code GIFT21. You can get something for him, something for her, something for you both. And you will get a total of 10 free gifts if you use my code plus free shipping. So don't be shy. Live out your fantasy at adamandeve.com using the offer code GIFT21 at checkout. Welcome back to Dates and Mates. I am here with my special guest, Jamie Faye. Let me tell you a little bit about this lady. She is an international certified dating and relationship coach. She's a facilitator and a speaker as well. For more than 10 years, she's been coaching individuals and couples in their personal, romantic, and professional relationships. She's originally from New York, but now I said she was international. She's all the way from Tel Aviv here today in studio. She lives in Tel Aviv with her partner and her fur baby, and she is here to talk to us about helping millennials navigate the dating scene in the modern world. Please give big smooches to Jamie Faye.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
I love that we're going international today. I love that you were able to join us in studio. Yay. And you've been doing this a while. So you've seen, I'm sure, a lot of trend changes and societal factors steering relationships in a new way. And just to clarify for everyone, I looked it up, millennials, because everybody is like, what's the definition of millennial? So I double checked, and technically, if you are currently between the age of 22 and 37, you're a millennial. So that means 2 people in this studio are millennials,
Yes.
and 1 person is millennial adjacent. So, what are you finding right now, Jamie, that are blocking millennials from finding love in today's dating landscape?
Yeah, a few big things. I think one is the instant gratification that we hear about regarding millennials also in the professional world, which I think can be a really positive thing in that way. But in the dating scene, it's this yes, no, maybe really fast, have to make a decision quickly, and then also pushing themselves to make a decision without the correct information.
Okay, what is the correct information, Jamie?
Like you were saying about having sex on a first date, this can be really distracting. I find it's really distracting for my clients to have sex very early in a relationship, not because it's bad or good, just like you said, but they usually regret it. And I think that men, my male clients, just don't notice how much it distracts them from getting to know this potential life partner or long-term relationship. And the women are more likely to notice it earlier, but I think it affects them both equally.
Really, this is a revolutionary concept because many people think, oh, men can just have sex and there's no attachment. And now I'm hearing from a lot of women, particularly millennial women, that they're like, well, I don't care. I can have sex like a guy and walk away and it doesn't even matter. Are you seeing are you seeing that belief system, and how do you feel it's actually playing out on the path to finding a relationship?
So I know that there are many types of connections, and a lot of my clients know that, and some know about themselves that they're not able to have that sexual intimate connection without getting their heart involved or falling in love. And I think that that's something that we need to learn about ourselves, right? That's something that my clients need to learn and discover, hitting the mic, about themselves before they can know what they're able to do. But I do see that a lot of millennial women are not able to have sexual intimate relationships without getting their hearts involved. I'm still
How do
hearing that.
you know? Like, let's say for the millennial ladies listening, how do you know that your heart has gotten involved and you're not able to detach completely?
I think it's trial and error, truly. I think that some women, even into their early 30s, like we're saying, are still millennials. They're not ready for that, and they know that about themselves, and they need to be aware that they don't know how to separate it. And then others, no, I can. Also, they can go looking for it. Like you're saying, Tinder. I love what you said about Tinder, because I believe that what I know from millennial men is they're going on Tinder looking for exactly what you said, connection. They're open to the one-night stand. Many of them are open for the real relationship. They'll happily find a partner on Tinder if that's what comes from it. And many women aren't. So if many women are going and then they're on Tinder but they're complaining, all of them just want sex. It's their job to make the boundary, to put the limit.
Thank you for saying that, because so many people want to complain about dating apps, but then it's like, well, I'm not sure that it's the dating app so much as it is your choices, right? So obviously I'm a big fan of online dating and dating apps. Are there rules and regulations? Are there guidelines you give your clients to set themselves up for success when they're online dating?
Sure. Well, I'm not an expert in creating an online dating profile like you had Jessica Fax on and other friends who are really expert in that, so I leave that to them. But I think that a lot of the rules that applied before online dating became the ultimate way of dating, they apply. Talk to them on the phone. Have coffee with them. You don't need to have a long dinner with them. They don't need to... they don't need to spend $100 on you. You don't need to spend $100 on them. Why? We're so busy. And millennials, so many of my clients are solopreneurs because millennials are, like me, independent business owners. So they don't have the time to go. They're also traveling all over the world. Take the time, have a FaceTime call, have a coffee, whatever it is, and meet new people because also the power in building a community. Just the more people you know, the more likely you're going to get introduced to someone who met someone else on OkCupid, and that could be, your compatible partner.
Yeah, that's a good point. You never know which connections might turn into other connections. And I wonder, since you do work internationally with clients all over the world, do you see cultural differences? Break it down for us. Like, most of our audience is American. Some people are in Australia. Hey.
Hey.
And the UK. But break it down for us where how each region is you see it dating differently, and what can we learn from other cultures about dating the right way?
Great.
Yeah.
So the two main cultures that I have the most clients in are in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and in America and Canada. So Toronto and the United States all over.
Yes.
So,
I should have included Canada. Hello, Canada.
Yeah. North America. So those are the ones I can speak to the most strongly. So differences. I'll start with men. Israeli men are extremely forward, direct, can even be categorized as aggressive and very assertive. So they are different from at least what I grew up in. I know about millennial dating men in New York or in East Coast and even here who are a little bit more laid back, a little bit more playing games, and Tel Aviv Israeli men are not.
They state their business.
They state their business, and a woman should never be confused. If an Israeli man has interest in you for any of the things on the spectrum, right, any of the kinds of connections, you're going to know. And if he didn't tell you, and he's not calling you, and he's not saying, when am I going to see you, then he's not interested. It doesn't mean you can't say something, but if you're confused, right, about what information you're getting, you shouldn't be confused.
I would actually say that could be applied in America as well, but
Totally.
somehow we don't want to hear it. you know?
I agree with you, but it depends on the age and maturity level of the man. So when I lived here, I experienced that, just what I said. I was never confused. And I would say to my friends when I was 20, grow up being in New York City, I don't understand. Why are you so worried about if he likes you? Do you like him? Mm-hmm. Is he worth your time, right? That's the other mind shift from your first question. I guess we'll come back to this, is taking the focus off what do they think about us and focusing on, do I want them?
Right.
This is the female, a little bit backwardsness.
Yeah, we want to be chased. We want to be put on a pedestal, but at the same time we forget it's like a two-way street. Like, yeah, you also as a woman need to show up for him so that he knows, oh, she's interested in me. I feel like everybody's just playing it real cool, like, oh, well, I don't want to come on too strong, I don't want him to know that I'm that interested, and so everyone's playing it so cool that it's just everything's just fizzling out.
I'm a huge supporter of directness and not playing games. I have never once played a game in any kind of relationship I've ever been in, and I've had successful relationships. I've never been confused about anyone, like, do they like me or not? They do. I like them or not. Great, wonderful. And with my clients, it's the same thing. Changing the focus of, well, do you like them? Are they someone that you want to spend more and more time with? Do you have things that you like to do together? Do you, as you're getting to know them better, do you have common values? All these things.
So let's take the relationship down the path. Let's say someone has made that connection and they are thinking this could be someone for the long term. What I see happening a lot is then the next step is, okay, well, we've been dating for like 6 to 12 months, so let's move in together. And there isn't a lot of projection into the future and really forethought about what building blocks you need to prepare for a long-term relationship. It's just like, oh, well, that's the next thing, so why not go with it? You coach people as they're getting into relationships. You're coaching people in relationships as well. Yeah. What are the issues that you see coming up later down the road that you think, oh, you should have asked that question a little bit earlier than now?
Everything from what does commitment look like? People getting married without even discussing, one, never stating how they really think they'd want to be in an open marriage, but they never talked about it.
Oh, stop.
Yes.
Like, I want to be in an open marriage, but I just got married, but I'm just going to spring that on my partner.
2-3 years in. Or springing,
come on, you guys.
Yeah, springing it on them in a way of like emotional cheating on the side. And then they find out about it, and then it comes to a place of like, now we're in coaching and we need to take small like short-term commitment times for us to be in a process. Yeah, so that's a
But
scary
here's the
one.
question. Are people not coming to terms with that themselves? Because I think we also have the societal pressure of like, a normal relationship is, a man and a woman, two cisgender individuals coming together to procreate and only be committed to each other. And now there's the option for, hey, you might you might be a little exploratory on the side. You might be attracted to someone of the same sex. And I think people are battling with their own impression of what is appropriate for them.
Totally. And I think it's really important that everyone define it for themselves
Yeah.
and define it in their relationship. And you're right. It is true that someone may not have malintent and go into it knowing something and not say. Okay, that could be true. It's not intentional to hurt them 3 years in or 4 years in or 2 years in. At the same time, it needs to be defined, and it can be redefined. You know, you're in a long-term relationship, so am I, but I don't have children yet, so it's even more.
Very long term.
Right?
Very, very.
Forever.
Very long term.
Right, so things change. You change. What are, then you need to redefine together. But that goes back all the way to the beginning and about the sex thing. Especially for women, I find that if you're not ready to communicate about intimate parts of your sex life with the person, you shouldn't be having sex with them. If you're not comfortable like saying, I like this, can you do that, can you this, and you're not learning that he or she, both ways, is sensitive enough and cares enough and is smart enough to interpret what you're saying or hear you or try to do it. Sometimes it takes time. We've got to be patient, Sometimes they don't get it the first time. We all have different bodies and they don't react the same. But if you're not comfortable having that conversation or in the moment talking to them or outside of the bedroom, then you need to back up.
Or even having the conversation of like, yo, what diseases you got?
Of course.
Have you done that? Have you done that little testy test? And how long ago was it? And can I see it?
Yeah.
And I feel like people are like, oh, I'll just jump into it. And then we can ask the questions later. But that question, I would want that question to come first if I was going to be exclusive and having unprotected sex with someone.
I have never had unprotected sex with anyone without being exclusive. I don't mind sharing this just so people know and seeing the test results. And I've had men tell me, I got tested. And I was like, how long ago? 3 months. I'm like, have you had sex with anyone between now and then? Yes. Well, then not today. And that might sound, that's me. That's always been my personality. But I want women to feel empowered in that way. And you can do something else, or you can go back outside. If you're in the bedroom, it's hard. If you got lots of sparks flying, like Thomas was saying, it's hard to back away from that. But it's your health. It's your life. Are you really going to risk that?
I like that you said it that way. And I think a lot of times people are so concerned about making the other person comfortable that they're afraid to advocate for what's important to them.
Yes.
But yeah, when you put it that way, it's your health. Is it what's more important than that?
Nothing. You have nothing if you get something from this person who even you end up loving them. But how bad are they going to feel when they find out that they gave you something?
Yeah, maybe they don't even know.
Right.
Just
Doesn't mean that they're bad.
But I think there's also this fear of if I don't seize the opportunity now, it may never come again. Like a lot of times with clients, I hear, well, I feel like he really likes me and I want to move things forward because if he leaves, then I have to start all over again. That's the big thing. Like, oh, I don't want to have to start all over again. And I don't think starting all over again is a bad thing if you're not with the right person, right?
Oh my gosh, I think starting all over again is super fun. Isn't dating like the super fun part?
For someone like
exciting.
you or me, yeah. I don't know. Producer Thomas might not agree.
It's been
Some people don't like the
distant
dating
memory.
process. Like so many people to me say, oh, I'm so glad that I don't need your help. Like I'm so glad to be out of the dating pool right now. And I'm like, why? We have so much opportunity. Women have so much more choice now. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to connect with someone anywhere in the world. You coach people all over the world. Then what? I don't know why that's a bad thing.
Just a mindset thing. It's the same thing of what you said before about what we were both saying about projecting on someone else of what they think about us. Will they like us, etc. But when we're focused on not letting go of what our commitment is to ourselves, what's going to make us happy even without that person, and then it's much easier to really see clearly. Then we can really see who they are. And when also that empowerment of a woman who sticks to her guns, do you want to, I'm asking, your listeners, do you want to be with someone who wants a woman like that long term? Or do you want to be with someone who wants a woman who's just like, all right. Like,
I feel like guys don't even want that. They don't want you to just go with the flow.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you want to be with a man? It's about them projecting it on them in a positive way. When you envision your ideal man, right? Is he, believe in a strong, confident, very sure of herself, respectful of herself woman, then that's who you are. If that's who you really are, then be that person. Don't think that he's going to want you to not be that person for a month and then start being that person.
Right, exactly.
It's just a mirroring thing.
Yes, and it's also hard to reset if you've already gotten off to the wrong foot. So I know you have a relationship mastermind group coaching program. Tell us about what that is and how the folks at home can get into the program.
Awesome. So the Relationship Mastermind is a group coaching program. There will be the recorded modules and also live sessions, and then they have unlimited access to me for the 2 months of the program via email, and we meet a couple of times also individually, whether it's a person coming themselves or as a couple. It's an 8-week program, and I bring my top tips, tools, strategies, processes that we need to do a lot of the things that we talked about. So whether you're dating and you want to be more prepared to be in a sustainable, loving, understanding relationship, or whether you're in one and you're like, I need a reset, or you want it to be the best it can be. Because you were asking me before, why do people come for things and what's missing? I find that so many millennials are like, it's all right. Like, but it doesn't have to be all right, your relationship. Your relationship can be awesome. Are you going to put in a little bit of effort? Are they going to put a little bit of effort? And that's all it really takes. So the Relationship Mastermind is getting to know really how you want to feel, making it happen both within yourself and with your relationship, learning the communication tools and strategies that you need for that, understanding the different way that we love and receive love individually, talking about intimacy and sex and changing that in the relationship so that it's just as best as it can be for you and your partner. There's no one standard. It's really just the best that the two of you can be and enjoy each other.
Yes, and we do not have to accept mediocrity. It should be awesome.
And we create that.
And you choose every day. You choose every day to either make it awesome or toil away in mediocrity. Right?
Totally.
So it's up to you to either step it up or step out.
Everything is.
Right?
It's your whole life. I mean, your relationship.
Well, what's more important than, A, your health. You did bring that up earlier. But B, the person that you are devoting your life to and blending your life with. I don't think there's anything else that's as important as that.
There
Maybe
isn't.
family.
But that's similar because that's all the things you learn in relationship coaching, affects every relationship in your life. Maybe except the sex part, but everything else just bleeds out. Yeah. That would be inappropriate.
But the ability to be transparent and express what your needs are can show up in different ways in your relationship. So people can find out about that program at jamiefaycoaching.com.
Absolutely. Yep,
wonderful. Okay. I know you're going to have something to say about these questions that have come in our segment, Technically Dating.
Technically Dating.
And these questions have come in from the Techspert app. So we are going to dive deep today. We have a first question. Whew, this one's a doozy. Are you ready? I'm ready.
I'm centered. I'm good.
You seem like very knowledgeable, very prepared. So I'm just going to come out of the gate strong.
Okay.
Because I know you can handle it. This is from an 18-year-old female. She says, my cousin just recently had a baby by her boyfriend of 2 years. And he messaged me and asked about how I was doing. And I thought it was a normal convo until he sent me an inappropriate picture. And I don't know how to break it to my cousin. And I don't want her mad at me because we're cousins. And she said, I didn't reply to him, but I saved the message of him saying, why don't I reply? I'm just horny. And she's nervous right now. So she wants to know.
Totally.
She doesn't want to hurt people, she says. But this is highly inappropriate and is making her very uncomfortable. And obviously she cares a lot about her cousin. So what could she do? She's got this screenshot. Should she show it to somebody? Should she tell her cousin?
Okay. First, well done for not doing anything impulsively. I think that was actually really smart and mature of you, not to just talk to your cousin or write to him something or whatever. What I would do, me personally, what I would tell you if you were my client is I would write him back a 1-paragraph message that says that this was inappropriate, that you're uncomfortable, that you expect him never to text you anything ever again. And if there's any line drawn there, if he makes you uncomfortable in any way, also in person, that you will talk to her cousin. that you will talk to your cousin. And I would just leave it there.
Jamie Faye is so mature and
Laying
level-headed.
down the law.
Yeah, you're right. That's, I think, the only way that you can respond. And sometimes we get these textpert questions, or like people will message me on Instagram or what have you and say, the similar situation, this person is dating someone else, but they messaged me. Should I get involved? Should I? And my feeling is like, it's not up to you to break that relationship down. Even if you are legitimately interested in the person, that's their own choices. Your job is to keep your side of the street clean.
Yes. I just find that often no good deed goes unpunished in certain things. And you need to be aware that sometimes you want to do the best for someone, but it can really come back to bite you in the ass. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's
You can
okay.
say us.
Sorry.
I don't think there's anything that can really be gained from
That's exactly it.
letting your cousin in on this, because also she's in a very fragile state right now. I have been there, and you're just not in your right mind when you just had a baby, and adding any extra drama to the situation would not be appreciated.
It would hurt her so much.
Yeah. So I unfortunately, it sounds like she chose a pretty bad partner. But she's going to figure that out in due time.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
possible for change, like we were talking about. It's possible for there to be a shift.
It sounds like he's an asshole. Okay, so this one.
No second chances.
No, this guy. I mean, this is a deep level of deception and just
It is slimy, like right after
grossness.
your wife had a baby, to be.
and sending unsolicited
Yeah.
pictures. It's just unnecessary. I hope he gets the help he needs.
Exactly.
Okay, this comes to us from a young female. She is from, I don't know this place, Harrow, United Kingdom. Where's Harrow? I don't know. Harrow.
I don't know.
Hello. She says, my ex is really taking things too far. He keeps watching my Snapchat stories to see where I am. And if he recognizes, spelled the British way, the place, then he turns up. Right. Then he turns up uninvited. When he knows that me and my friends don't want him with us and don't get along with him. He gives me really bad vibes, and it's slightly starting to scare me how many times he has done this. Is this stalking? What should I do?
Well, to answer to the second to last question, it does sound like stalking.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
that's how
scared of him, then that's like.
Well, scared is like a subjective. I believe her that she's scared, and I would be too. But the actions sound like stalking to me, in my definition of stalking. And I think there's a similar thing she should do. I think it should be email and text. She should send the exact same message, same thing, really similar warning of like, dear so-and-so, and something with empathy. I know that may sound crazy, but because he's a little bit crazy, something with empathy.
I always treat crazy people
right?
with empathy.
They need that.
Always.
They need to hear, like, to be heard. So to say, like, I understand that maybe, this is difficult for you, and we had a wonderful time, but that's not the case anymore. We're not together anymore, and I don't want to be in contact with you. I'm asking you not to contact me, not to show up places on purpose. I mean, she can't prevent him from going places. We can't know if he just shows up there. But
Right.
and then if it continues, then I would consider calling the authorities, as that's what the law is for.
Yes. And a little bit of big sister advice to the millennials.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to share your location all the time. And I have a philosophy. Usually, if I'm posting a location, I post it when I am leaving or after I have left. It doesn't have to be actually in the moment. And regardless of this boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, you could be setting yourself up for a bad situation with somebody else that's following you.
Totally.
Or, it's just,
I'm really glad you said that.
yeah, it's something that bothers me about social media, that I think people are either oblivious to or have forgotten. There's like all of these rules that I feel like I was taught as a youngster, that it seemed to like don't have sex on the first date, wear a condom, don't post your location, don't share your location places where someone might come and abduct you, like with your name and your face and
Don't
everything.
open the door to strangers.
Don't open the door to strangers. And people are just like, oh, but it's fine. Don't go to his house on the first date if you don't know him. Don't let him pick you up on the date if he's a stranger. What's happening? We are all just we're just like, well, whatever.
window.
It's the age of social media, and we'll just share everything. and we'll just do whatever and take a pill and it'll be fine. You can't take a pill for everything, people.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It's
Now
really common for,
now I've got
for people
it's
today.
the coffee.
Yeah,
it's the coffee. Hi. Okay.
They need to hear it, though. They need to hear it.
Let's hear what you think to this one. This is a young female. She says, "How do I know if I should give up on a guy or not? This guy and I have been talking. You know what talking means,
Okay.
because you coach millennials.
Yeah.
For the 6 months. We clicked right away. We never put a label on it, just kind of hung out. We flirted, got to know each other. Things have been great. I tried to ask him what we are, and he's clearly told me he doesn't want a relationship. I completely understand that, but I've tried to understand what that means, if that means that I can talk to other guys and so on. Ever since we tried to figure things out, he's been distant. I'm going to back up, Producer Thomas, and I'm just not going to say a word, and I'm going to let Jamie Faye take this question. Go.
Okay. One, it sounds like her definition of what a non-relationship is confusing, but I do think that you absolutely can date other people and do whatever you want, and you should, because this relationship with this person sounds like in the category of fun. And be mindful as you start to date other people. You're going to have to repeat it to me because I don't remember all the parts. As you start to date other people, be mindful if he is like tugging on your heart. If you're feeling like, oh, but I feel bad or guilty, then you need to let him go, because that means he's preventing you from seeing other people. I'm not at the whole point. You need to let him go. If you wanted to be in a relationship with him, you know you want to be in a serious relationship with him, and he's saying no, then you need to let him go. But if you're saying that he's holding some space, some purpose, and you're enjoying it, then I think you should have your fun and be open to other things and go out there and date and get back on the apps and go to parties and go to, events that you like. What's the rest?
Can I respond?
Yes.
You said I was
Please.
being hard on people.
Oh, no, I can tell you're chomping at the bit. Let it loose.
I'm tasting blood in my mouth because I bit through my tongue
right.
so hard. I think she is hurting herself. I think this relationship is literally doing damage to her psyche. He said he clearly does not want a relationship, and then
What
after
does that mean?
you start, why do we do this? Why do we do this to ourselves? He said he doesn't want a relationship, and then after that, she says he's been distant and he's backing up. He is sending a very clear message that he doesn't want the same thing that you do. And I think you have to protect yourself. And sometimes we don't ask the question. I'm glad I would like to applaud her for having the conversation. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't ask the question because we're afraid of the answer. But she got the answer, and then she's like, la, 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 can't hear it. Can't hear it. We're going to have a relationship. And I think it's very clear. Yes, you should date other guys, not to make him jealous, because that may not happen. Well, we do that too.
You're right.
Not to make him jealous, but girl,
because he's not holding on
better.
for anything.
No, you can do better. You can be with someone that really wants to be with you and puts you first and doesn't treat you like that, right? Okay.
Yes.
Here's a question from a female. She's 34. She's from Illinois. And she asks, should I text if we are on for tomorrow? This guy I'm dating set up tentative plans and said he would let me know. I texted him a couple funny things since then, and he's responded with LOL. Not even an emoji, just a LOL. She says, I know him pretty well, so I don't think I need to necessarily wait for him all the time. But I prefer to have things confirmed at least a day in advance. Should I just flat out ask him? Are we confirmed?
I would drop it. I would act as if you do not have plans with him. So now we're going to switch a little bit, but like he did not confirm and he did not confirm with you, you don't have plans with him. And if he comes back and says, are we, or see you at 8, you didn't give me a confirmation, I made plans. And make freaking plans. Go out with your friends. Because I want to
agree with you, but I also, as a girl who likes her plans and keeps her schedule, if you said, they had a date too. They set up plans for Saturday.
But then she said he didn't confirm. It was tentative. What happened to the word tentative?
But then she said they did tentative plans, and then he said he would let me know.
But he didn't. Maybe we're just not reading it differently.
No, I think you're right. He didn't. He said he would let her know, and he didn't follow through on that. Yeah. I would say if this is the first time, I I would just follow up and say, hey, are we on for Saturday? Question mark, end of conversation.
Totally, you can do that.
And then if he doesn't respond back within like 6 hours, yeah, you do not have plans and go and make other plans. Don't sit at home feeling sorry for yourself. Okay, good enough. See? Okay.
Both work.
One more question. This is a female. She's 22. She's from Italy, one of my favorite countries. She says, do I owe my boyfriend, there's a space between boy and friend, do I owe my boyfriend, parentheses, with benefits, an explanation as to why I couldn't come through to chill and, yes, the Netflix kind? So let me decipher this because this is in, millennial speak from Italy. So she has this friend with benefits and he wanted her to come over and Netflix and chill, that's like, get it in. And she's like, not into it. So she's wondering if she knows he's a boyfriend with benefits. They're both clear on that. Does she owe him an explanation why she can't come through, or is it just a no?
Of course not. No, I have plans. No, I'm not able to. No, I don't want to. Of course not. Why does she owe him? She doesn't owe anyone any explanation.
No, she does not owe anyone anything.
She really doesn't.
I would say, though, a boyfriend with benefits is a person, too. So if you feel like, for example, if you had plans with a girlfriend, not with benefits, just a friend who is a girl, platonic, and she was like, hey, can you come over and hang out? And you were like, no, I'm going to do something else. If you felt the need to explain to her what you were doing, then in this situation, maybe he would appreciate an explanation.
Except you create kind of like a hole, like a loophole there. And then like the back side of it is if she says why she can't go this time, but next time it's to see another guy and she doesn't say why. And then he asks, so why? Oh, nothing. I'm showering. I'm shaving my legs. Something silly, right? That no one says anymore, right? And then it's, you know what I mean? If she starts telling him why she can't go, and then all of a sudden she doesn't, you're gonna make him be like, "What's up? Why? Why aren't you sharing with me?"
Jamie Faye wins this round. Thank you so much for joining us. You are so brilliant with coaching millennials in relationships and in dating, and I'm so glad that you came all the way from Tel Aviv to share your insights with us. So wherever people are in the world, they can work with you, right? Absolutely. Just go to Jamie Faye Coaching. Let me spell that for you. It's JAMIEFAYE coaching.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was awesome. So much fun.
Thank you. And you at home, I got something I got to talk to you about because I have just a couple minutes left to get something off of my chest in Damona's diatribe. Today, I want to talk to you about reading beyond the headlines. Sometimes I get angry tweets or comments in reaction to something that we say on this show or an article that I write for BET.com or something on social media. And I actually welcome discourse because it means that something that we've said has triggered you in a way that's powerful and makes you question how you're showing up in the world. Great. Here's the thing, though. Many times the reaction is in response to the headline. Many times the answer to the question you're asking is actually in the article that you're commenting about but haven't read. And it occurred to me this week that this is the issue with dating today. It's not about swipe apps, making people shallow perfection seekers. It's not that we're dating strangers from different worlds instead of settling down in our hometowns. It's that in life and in love, we're all just reading the headlines. But what you really need is to get past that one salacious statement. All the values, the heart, and the passion can't be absorbed by skimming. If you're looking for a connection, you have to start truly connecting. And the first place to begin with that is to stop simply reading the headlines and reacting. Go a level deeper. That's where you're going to find all the good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us this week on Dates and Mates. We have lots more about the show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Damona Hoffman. You can also email me your questions, damona@damonahoffman.com. Get the Textbird app so you can post your questions and they may end up on a future show. And of course, Jamie Faye is amazing. You can get her coaching at jamiefaycoaching.com. And don't be shy, you guys. I told you about Adam and Eve. There's no judgment. It comes in a box that no one will know. No one will be wiser about what's going on in that box. That is just for you. So don't forget to use the offer code GIFT21 so you can get free shipping and those 10 free gifts. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be here again next week with more dating and relationship advice. Until then, I wish you happy dating.